Good morning, Culers. Welcome to Wake Up and Barca. We've got an exciting day today. It is Xavi Day in Barcelona. Xavi Hernandez finally returning. Barcelona will be unveiling the new manager here today. It's actually happening, I think, like right now as we speak at the Camp Nou. So very exciting stuff. The Xavi era has begun. So on today's episode of Wake Up in Barca, we're going to talk about what to expect in terms of lineup, tactics, results. I'm going to tell everyone, let's be patient. Let's be very patient while Xavi gets settled in and we work through these injuries in particular. All right, so we'll talk about the Xavi era. We'll talk about all the headlines going into it. And of course, we'll catch up with each other here in the chat. So if you're first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can be part of the conversation with Culers from around the world as we catch up on today's Barcelona news, have a little caffeine, and check in with each other. I'm glad you found us. Let's go ahead and kick things off the right way, my friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuning in to the undefeated Mustache John.
Okay, let's see who we got here. Kudis says, rough weekend, but it's over. Kudis, it is over. I'm sorry you had a rough weekend, bud. Talk to us about it. Let us know what was rough. What can we do for you, Kudis? We love you. We got your back here on this channel. Nick, how we doing? Good morning, sir. Levi, good morning. Prashanth, good morning to you, sir. I appreciate that sunshine. Levi starting out says, sack the doctors. Pretty much. Early reports are saying that Xavi is going to clean house in terms of the medical staff, and it needs to be done. Hamstring injuries, groin injuries, lower back injuries. Why is this happening? Aguero can be excused. He's got a heart condition. When Alba was injured, he tweaked his ankle in some way. Outside of that, these are all muscular injuries of people in their prime, their athletic prime. I don't understand it. It makes no sense. So I'm with you on sack the medical team. Good morning, Daniel. How are we doing today? Levi asks, does he have the right to do that, though? I'm not really sure, but I would assume that Xavi will have some influence on that decision. Actually, I think it is his choice. If you all remember back like 6-7 years ago when Jose Mourinho was at Chelsea, there was a pretty good-looking medical trainer that would be the one that came on to treat players on the pitch. And at some point, that medical trainer went on without Jose Mourinho's approval, and it like caused Hazard to come off the pitch or something like that, whatever it was, and Jose fired her. So because of that story, I'm pretty sure it is the case that it's the manager's decision who's on the medical team. I think. Could be wrong. Could be club to club. I'm not really even sure. Prashant asks, how does Dembele get injured so much? Don't know, dude. It's mostly his hamstrings, too. It's just very frustrating. Levi says, the doctors will have lawyers to dispute their sacking. That's fine. That's totally fine. Eva Camillero, was that her name? Thank you, Levi, if that's her. Let's see if that's her. Let's pull up a tab here. Hang on, let me take Nightbot out of the channel before it starts just drunkenly rampaging through this chat. So we did that. Sorry about that sound there. I gotta fix some settings on my microphone too. I know you guys aren't here to hear about the inside baseball, but I've been testing some settings on my microphone. I'm using a compressor right now that I think is making it so that you're hearing every little thing, like this pen drop, and I don't want you to hear those things, or the clicking of the keyboard. I want you to be able to hear everything that I'm saying, and if I get really loud, I want it to be able to bring it down a little bit. But we'll get there, folks. We have a winter break coming up here in a few weeks. Oh, that's her. We have a winter break coming up in a few weeks, and we're going to tweak a few things here on the channel. We're going to add some stuff in. We're going to take some stuff out. It's going to be good. We're going to make some upgrades. But just speaking of Ava, you were close, Levi. It's Eva Carniero. So we're going to take a look at our girl Ava here. I mean, come on. Get her at Barcelona. This is the medical professional that we need at Barcelona. We need Eva Carniero. fired by Jose Mourinho for silly reasons. Like I was saying earlier, I'm pretty sure she like came onto the pitch because she saw a player down, but the player didn't really need treatment yet, so the player had to come off the pitch and yada, yada, yada. I don't really know. But this is it, folks. This is what we need right here at Barcelona. This will solve everything. This should be Xavi's number one signing right here. Eva Carneiro. Damn it, I did it again. I did it again. I don't understand why I do that every time, you guys. I literally just have to hit the button once it's done. Tune in. Done. Boom. Whatever. Let me get caught up on the chat here. Nick says Ravi is trying to win the battle with Aguero of most time out. Gotcha. Paul, how we doing, sir? Saying we're going to play a 4-3-3. Yes, that is assumedly so. Joan Laporta was demanding that of Ronald Koeman while he was here. Xavi loves the 4-3-3. He's very comfortable with it. Ernest, good morning, sir. Says Xavi is being presented right now. Yes, I do believe that is happening currently at the Camp Nou. He is being presented. I'm assuming that's why we have a few people not here with us right now. They're probably watching that. Kuda says, now that's some caffeine when it comes to the medical staff. Absolutely. Gets the people going. Paul says, how can we get in next year? We need a left winger and a right winger for the first team and as a sub. We got a lot of holes to fill, but it starts with a defensive mid and a striker. That's what we need first and foremost. And if we could just have a healthy Ansu and Dembele, that's our wingers. That's our wingers, my friends. Levi says Coutinho refusing to come off. I saw something about an attitude problem with Coutinho. I'm not sure about that. Let's go. Where do you guys want to start? You want to start with Xavi news, or do you want to start with anything else that might come up, like Coutinho and injuries and whatnot? We'll start with Xavi. We'll go Xavi news. We'll start off on a positive foot. Sal Grace, good morning to you, sir. Ahmed, good morning. Let's jump over to Xavi news. Xavi is a perfect fit for Barcelona, says Andres Iniesta. Of course he says that. Andres Iniesta, his former midfield counterpart. Very familiar with how Xavi plays and thinks. 10 most urgent issues Xavi Hernandez must solve at Barca. That could be interesting. We can take a little gander. Let's see what this joker says. Raise the team's self-esteem. Sure, that's part of it. I don't know if I'd put that number one. I'm assuming this is reverse order, maybe. Stop the injuries. Okay, but Xavi can't really do much about that unless he wants to bring in Eva. That's probably the solution. Get the players flying. As well with the injuries, fitness is important. In the second half against Celta, they were exhausted while Celta flew, not for the first time in Europe's it's even more evident. Interesting. So when he says get the players flying, he means get them back up into peak fitness. Find solutions for an unbalanced squad. All right. We don't have any money, though. That's the problem. Be daring with La Masia. I could agree with that. That's basically saying, reinvest in the youth. Keep giving them that time. Coffee says this is the time for Demir to show what he's worth. We'll see. We got a new manager coming in. Demir, Ricky Puig, Umtiti are three players that just can't get a look right now, but this is going to be their last chance. We're going to have to trust in Xavi and trust his judgment and his assessment of these players. But if Xavi says Ricky Puig isn't ready, if Xavi says Demir isn't ready, if Xavi says Umtiti isn't worth going and spending time on him, you got to go with that. Back to this list here. It says, manage the sacred cows. The four captains, Busquets, Piqué, Alba, and Roberto, are heavyweights in the dressing room. They're important to have influence over the others. Everyone has to be rowing in the same direction. Amen to that. I think Xavi is going to command that respect, bring people together, and he's going to be the leader in that locker room. I don't have any question about that. It says, watching Wake Up in Barca on my phone and the Xavi presentation on my PlayStation. Awesome. I appreciate you tuning in for both, my man. Levi says, Puig won't disrespect Xavi. You would think not. You would think not. He certainly doesn't have the room to. Number 8 here is to be a companion, but not a friend. The line that separates teammateship and friendship is fine and hard for a young coach sometimes. Sure, it's definitely tough to balance those relationships. He's played with all of those captains there, and I'm sure he's had some interactions with the players that came up through La Masia too. So now that he's stepping in as manager, it's going to be a different relationship that he's going to have to kind of work on balancing out there. Coffee says Pep is likely to suppose a swap deal for Sterling and get De Jong. Do you mean Frankie De Jong? Because no way in hell would I give up Frankie De Jong for Sterling. There's no possible way. Luke De Jong, sure, you can you could take Luke De Jong, but I can't imagine Pep taking Luke De Jong. Number 9 on our list here is the Coutinho problem. Barcelona have a big issue with their record signing, and Xavi must take the bull by the horns. He must try and revive the Brazilian, who can be important in the team. But if not, then he must take drastic decisions and leave him out. The Coutinho case cannot go on as it currently is. Barjuan left him out in the last match, maybe 2. I know in the last match, could have used a creative midfielder on the pitch, particularly when we were giving up goals and not getting any kind of possession to just slow down the momentum. Would have been nice to bring on a midfielder there, but we didn't. So that speaks pretty loudly of Coutinho's status at the club. Okay, so back to the Sterling swap for Frankie. There's no possible way. I just absolutely not. That would be such a disastrous deal for Barcelona to give up Frankie de Jong for Sterling. That's insane. Animal says Luke is more dangerous than Neymar. I'm sure Pep would take Neymar. That's a fair point. You know, that is definitely a fair point. That's hilarious. So this is a good update. Barcelona probably have today off because they do have that international break coming up. But the headline here is Xavi to take first training session on Tuesday the 9th. That is tomorrow. He will, of course, be doing so with a number of names in his squad absent due to international duty, namely Alba, Busquets, Gavi, Coutinho, Araujo, Ter Stegen, Frankie, Memphis, Lenglet, and Demir. But following that international break, it's all Xavi. The quote here is, the training sessions will be demanding and we will compete hard, said the new coach on arrival in the Catalan capital on Saturday. Xavi is used to winning, he has a winning mentality, and he has big plans for the rest of the season. It all start in earnest on Tuesday. They got a few typos in there. No problem. I'm not here to judge, but there's a few typos in there. So Xavi's here. Xavi's being presented. Xavi is taking over the team on Tuesday. Very exciting stuff. Prashant, Levi, I wouldn't go that far. The team was looking amazing up until Ansu Fati came out. The problem is the 4-3-3 formation does not work if you don't have pace on the wings. Flat out. 4-3-3 cannot be played without pace on the wings. Okay? So if we don't have Ansu and we don't have Dembele, we don't have enough pace. Those are the only two players. Well, and Serginho Dest, but he's a right back. The only two players that we have that are natural forwards that have the pace to play with the 4-3-3 successfully are Ansu and Dembele. Without Dembele, it falls on Ansu. Once Ansu went down, we had nobody, and we can't play that formation anymore. We had no possession. We had no way of breaking out of our midfield. We were just under constant pressure once Ansu came out. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Prashant says Busquets forgot his captain band in the second half. Is that true? Was he just not wearing it? Did he forget it in the locker room or something? Anil says 4-3-3 works with very fast wingbacks and inversive wingers also, if you mean like they cut inside. Sure, that's fair, but that we don't have that either. So, Ernest says we are becoming dependent on Ansu just like Messi. Sure, started out with Depay, then Ansu came back and we quickly switched over to him. We need to play as a team. And that's the thing. The 3 goals that we scored, not so much Ansu's, but the second and the third were team goals. We were not seeing team goals from Barcelona, meaning build out from the back, 2-3 passes to unlock their defense, and then we set up an easy chance. We haven't been doing that. We were finally seeing that, and then injuries. It's tough. It's tough. Daniel asked prediction for this Friday. What is going on this Friday? Oh, you mean USA versus Mexico. I was like, Barcelona does not play on Friday. We'll talk about USA Mexico. We might hijack Friday morning's show and make that a USA versus Mexico pregame match. I'm gonna put out a little vlog. Nothing will be live, but I'm gonna take some footage during that match so you guys will see it. Friday is USA versus Mexico here in Cincinnati. I'm so bummed that Sergiño Dest is injured. He was going to be here in the stadium. I got tickets. I was going to spend the whole day in the stadium just trying to get Sergiño Dest to sign my kit. Next time, I guess. Next time. All right. Yes, Ahmed, that's actually what we're going to hop over to next. I want to talk about a potential lineup for Xavi Hernandez here. So let me pull up what we got. We'll jump over here. Biggity boom, biggity bow. All right. So excluding injuries, we got anybody that we want to choose from. It's going to be a 4-3-3. We're going to build out what Xavi Hernandez would go with if he had all of the players at his disposal. Me caught up on the chat here. Ernest says Xavi watched the Barca B game. Maybe he was scouting. I would assume so. He may bring up 1 or 2 players of his own. Coffee says, so what are we doing? What are we going to do in this break? In this break, we are going to have Wake Up in Barca's, and then you'll have a USA Mexico vlog to watch. Plenty of action still happening on this channel. Nick, excluding injuries, there are a lot of players. I know, right? So the compressor that I'm using is now picking up the dogs in the background too. So this is just not what we want. Let me try this real quick. Can you guys still hear me? Does that sound okay now? I turned down the gain a little bit on the actual microphone. So is the volume, if I'm just speaking at this level here, does it still sound all right? Let me know. If it's too quiet, let me know. Anyway, Daniel says, get the future Barca players autograph Wesson McKennie. Good call, Daniel. That is a good call, actually. I love that you guys keep bringing that back up. All summer long, I was preaching that Barcelona need to get Wesson McKennie, that he's a perfect midfielder for Barcelona, and I still will maintain that opinion. I would love to see him there. He's box to box, tenacious, he can score, so I would love to see it. Okay, sounds good. I appreciate that. All right, moving on then. I know he's had trouble, but you know he's still our number one. It's not like we're going to play Neto in goal. All right, Ter Stegen's number one. I think you know we got Fati up top on the left. Dembele at right wing. I'm going for the ones that we just know right off the bat first, because there's some positions that are definitely up for contention, we'll say. Let's move Jordi and Dest in there. Memphis is going to start. I'm a little bit curious if Xavi would have the nerve to play Memphis as a number 10 and play Aguero in front of him. That's one of the things I'm considering. Midfield is where it gets very tricky. It gets very tricky in the midfield. Busquets is outperforming my expectations. I will admit, he is outperforming my expectations. We need to replace him. It has to happen. I really do worry about his ability to maintain the legs throughout the year. He's playing a lot of matches right now, particularly with all the injuries going on. So listen, this is Xavi's 11. He's going to rely on him. He's going to rely on Busquets. I also think he's going to be relying on PK. And I don't think there's any way that we leave Frankie de Jong out of the lineup either. So we got 2 more spots that we can fill. PK needs a center back pairing, and we can either go with another midfielder, or does Memphis play as a number 10 and Aguero comes in at striker? For me, it's either going to be Pedri in the midfield or Aguero at striker. I'm not sure who the midfield or who the center back pairing is going to be. It could be Garcia. He's got the most La Masia experience. Unless Mingueza, guys, with the way that Xavi works, it could end up being Mingueza. That might happen. Prashant says, we have a lot of people. Don't see Memphis as a 10. Coffee says, use Frankie as our defensive mid. Eventually, yes. Excuse me. Eventually, that is going to happen. Busquets is not long-term. But for the time being, he's playing quite well, I got to admit. Chat's calling for Araujo to be the center back pairing. Animal says in the long term, Xavi will go for Demir as the number 10. It's the position in which he was trained and his skill set is made for. Okay, if you say so. Levi says Araujo, but Garcia still deserves game time. Prashant says Araujo. Nick says Araujo. TW says, I feel Memphis would be too uncomfortable in that midfield. Levi says, no, not Mingueza. Okay, I think the chat seems to go for Araujo. I do say that he's the Uruguayan Virgil van Dijk. I think that he has tremendous potential to build from. He's got incredible pace. He's got good stature just physically. He's a big body. I don't hate it. And I do agree with the chat that Memphis probably would not be very comfortable in a number 10. I do think he'll play with his back to goal at times and kind of be that outlet to run off of. But ultimately, I think it's going to end up being pretty much what Ronald Koeman started out with at the beginning of the season, if he didn't have all the injuries. I think that's what we go with. You know what I'm saying? TPKI says we're going to win La Liga and UCL this season. Relax. Listen, if we end up winning La Liga, that will be a huge success. I really think we need to... primarily focus on Copa del Rey. I think that can be our one trophy that we can confidently go for. Levi says play a 4-2-4. That's not going to be happening. Now, here's the thing. For people who are saying that Xavi's going to be playing a 3-4-3, they're not going to line up in a 3-4-3. But here's how it turns in to a 4-3-3. All right, when Barcelona are on the ball, what will happen is Ansu Fati will pinch in here, Dembele will pinch in here, Dest will come up the wing, Alba will come up the wing, Pedri will slide in here, De Jong will slide in here, Araujo pinches forward, PK pinches forward, but Busquets actually will sit back a little bit more. So if you look at how that lines up, when we're on the ball, pushing forward, you have a 3-4-3. So for everyone who was already commenting that Xavi's going to be playing the 3-4-3, when we're on the ball and you look at the formation, sure, it's going to look like a 4-3-3. But as soon as we lose it, same thing. These players drop back in. Busquets covers the midfield. Dest and Alba come back defensively. These players get wide. And now we're back in a 4-3-3. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about the context, about whether or not we have the ball. I do think you're going to see a 3-4-3, but we're going to be lined up as a 4-3-3. That's what I'm saying. And Nick, yeah, there is the Xavi Masterclass on YouTube, which was it was interesting to watch for sure. He talked a lot about how he likes to set up players to take advantage of the box shape by working through triangles. So it's very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff indeed. So what do we think about this lineup, folks? Would you change anything? Is there anyone that you would swap out? I mean, I know realistically we're not going to have we're not going to have Dembele for most of this year. It's just so unfortunate. I really hope. I know I half joked about it being a conspiracy that Fati, Pedri, Nico, and others were all pulling up with injuries. We're all pulling up with injuries as a way of staying back so that they could be here for Xavi to arrive and learn from him this week. Levi, what are you talking about? I must have missed something there. Nick says, not sure if I can count on Dembele. I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that. This was kind of... I've been hanging on. I've been hanging on as much as I can, but at the end of the day, I don't want to say I've given up. I've certainly not given up. If Dembele comes back and starts playing well, I'll be right back on board. But it is tough to have faith in Dembele right now. That is for sure. How to Vids, good morning, sir, says, I wonder when people will start questioning Araujo's fitness and injury history and whether we can actually count on him. It's, been 2 or 3 right now? But listen, we need to get a different medical staff, and then we can start deciding what players are to blame. Right now, I'm blaming the medical staff because there's so many. We're missing half of our starting lineup. TW said there's so much hype around Xavi. I feel like a lot of people build him up a little too much. I know he's good, but he is only early until his manager career. Yeah, he didn't have a lot of experience. Everyone kind of negates that because of Pep Guardiola, but I've been saying it repeatedly. We need to be patient. We need to be calm on those expectations. We're still in a financial crisis. Xavi's not going to be able to bring in the talent that he wants to bring in, and we need to have some time for the youth to develop as well. Getting playing time is great, but they've got some hard lessons to learn. That's just kind of facts. TW, I am unfortunately, I guess I could. Maybe that'll be a winter break update to get the right pictures for Memphis and Aguero. I'm just going off of what FIFA give me, unfortunately. I can make custom ones. It just takes a little extra effort. Like I had to do all the Barca B players don't have FIFA cards, so I had to custom make those ones. So I can do it. It just takes a little bit of extra time. And that was Ahmed who asked that. Excuse me. Nick said, every time I get excited to see him play, he gets injured. He's playing with my heart. I agree, dude. I'm right there with you, Nick. I am right there with you. Kuda says, must be Spanish fly syndrome. Maybe. That's the early diagnosis. Anil says Barca needs to buy Alphonso Davies. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a top left back, but I don't know. That's not the most important position for us just yet. Defensive mid, and striker. Probably striker more so right now than anything else. This summer, I was saying defensive mid all summer long. But then, like I said, Busquets has actually been outperforming my expectations. So that pushes the need for a number 9 that much further up the list, unfortunately. All right, folks. Appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me. This was a fun one. Taking a look at Xavi's potential starting 11. Catching up on some of the Xavi news. I know that I owe you all singing the Barcelona anthem, so that's going to be coming out. I don't remember what the stipulation was, but apparently I said if Barcelona bring in Xavi this year, that I would sing Barcelona's anthem. So I'm going to do that. Also going to put together a little video kind of as a welcome Xavi and what to expect. And we'll see how those go. I hope to have those out in the next couple of days. I was unexpectedly out of town for the weekend, so I didn't get them done in the time that I wanted to, but that happens, folks. That happens. I'm really trying to be cautious of not just putting something out for the sake of putting it out there. I know I think I've got enough content coming out consistently, so now it's really not about quantity, but about quality. So if you do have any suggestions, any ideas on how to improve what I'm already doing, things that you'd like to see on this channel, things that are going to help engagement, help bring people in, help keep folks here, I'd love to hear your ideas. It's one of the fun things about having the community that we do here on the Undefeated channel, is that we get to build this together. So very exciting stuff. My friends, I'm going to hop off. I'm going to get my day going. I hope that you all have a wonderful day. I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me. We'll be back here live Wednesday morning for another Wake Up in Barca. Xavi will be about 24 hours into actually taking over the club at that point. So we should, in that 24 hours, get all of our players back from injury. All of the youth players will be blessed with the experience of Xavi, and we'll be Champions League contenders within 24 hours of Xavi taking over. It's very exciting stuff. So we'll talk about all that and more on Wednesday's Wake Up in Barca. And don't forget, USA versus Mexico this Friday. I'm going to be doing a vlog for that. That'll come out over the weekend. So lots of action here on the channel, even though it's an international break. So if you are here for the first time, make sure you subscribe so you can be part of the conversation with Culers from around the world as we catch up on the news and hang out with each other. It's a good connection, folks. You meet people that you never would have met around the world. It's a good time. So one more time, I appreciate y'all very much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in and taking a ride, my friends. We'll see y'all next time. Mwah.